If you're a defense contractor or an SBIR or STTR grantee, and you're wondering, what is CMMC compliance? What is CUI? When is it actually due? And more importantly, how do I achieve compliance? What are the things that I have to check off? You're probably hearing from consultants and vendors out there with their fear tactics that you better hurry up and get it done, or else you're gonna lose all your contracts, be fined, and be kicked out on your face and lose your business. There's a lot of scare tactics. Today, we're gonna dive in and understand with the actual facts, what are the requirements? When is it due, if ever? And what are your obligations going forward? Today, to help us answer all these questions, we have Tariq Azmi back from AZM Solutions, the CEO and a good friend. Welcome back, Tariq.
Thanks, Arut. It's always fun to be back and have great conversations with you. I appreciate it. And I think you're talking about a very good and important topic because there's a lot of confusion out there. People are thinking, oh, I'm not compliant. What happens to me? What happens to the contract? Where do I go? And again, all people have to do their job. So you have, a lot of salespeople out there talking about the deadlines. You have to get it done now. We have a package here, compliance in a box, those kind of things. So just we'll talk through this and kind of give you some ideas of what the reality is, share some documents straight from the DOD.
That's right.
That when the rulings came out and simplify it for you. So let's dive into it a little bit and keep calm. It's not as bad.
Yeah, good point. I wish we were more salesmen-like. We would be selling and scaring our customers, but here we are actually telling them the truth instead of selling to them. So hopefully this will pay off later with our honesty. But let's jump in, right? So let's get in there. There's actually two big areas I see our customers and people calling in. There's two big areas, both the timeline, okay, and how to achieve it, the cost to it. We're hearing like, you got to do it now. And then the second thing we're hearing is everything you have is crap. You got to throw it out and buy this expensive products and services I'm selling you. So obviously, neither of those are true. So let's get in there and start with the timeline. Why don't you guide us through what the actual DOD CIO, Chief Information Office, is telling us the phase rollout is? Depending, I guess, when you're watching this, if it's after November 10, 2025, the clock has started. Why don't you give us the four phases, not 10 phases, the 4 phases of the rollout here.
Right. It's again, we'll have this uploaded. I'm sure you'll find the documents as soon as we get it done. Keep in mind, here's the key dates. Phase 1 is November 10th. Some of the solicitation for level 1, level 2, that will have more of self-assessment. Keep that in mind. It's not a third-party assessment. It's a self-assessed, self-attestation that needs to be. And prime contractors may demand or ask for some documentation to ask where you are, how's your compliance journey going, do you have CMMC? The phase 2 will roll out exactly 1 year, which will be November 10, 2026. Some of the solicitation will require, depending on how the rollout is happening, but it will require the level 2 certification. Phase 3 is when the level 3 will be introduced for the level 3 certifications, and it will appear in very specific solicitations. Then you have another year after that, which is November 10th, 2028, phase 4 rollouts that says DOD contracts, including the applicable CMMC, all level 3s, the level 1, level 2, level 3, will have that requirements in your contract. So keep that in mind, read your contract, see which levels you need. Is it level 1, level 2 self-assessed, or level 2 third-party assessed, or is it level 3?
That's right. Thank you. So take a deep breath, everyone, so you can see it just started, but it's self-assessed for the first year. So November 10th, 2025 through November 9th, 2026, it's self-assessment. So no certified third-party assessment yet. It's not called out on contracts. There's some exceptions. So if you have near secret contracts and you have to get this done, then it's actually in those cases, they might require an audit. But as far as a self-assessment, this is no different than what you've been doing already with NIST 800 171 R2. It's nearly, actually, it is identical to that. So the only thing is you have to make sure that it really, really is done well when you're reporting to those. You're reporting your SPRS score. All right, now, thanks for clarifying that. Let's get into the second big issue, which is what you have is no good. The solutions, the products you have, we got to throw that out, right? And we got to start from scratch. Let's and give us lots of money. We'll do consulting for you. We'll bring expensive tools. $200,000-$300,000 later, we'll separate you from your time and money, and you'll be good. So let's get into and bust that myth. Whew, couldn't pronounce that for a second. Too many B's. Do you really have to start from scratch, or can you use your existing processes and solutions that you already have deployed?
Yep. Just keep in mind, right, depending on what you have, what you may have already worked towards, what solutions that are in place, what softwares that you're using, you have to keep all those things in mind. I want you to go back to the very basics of what the CMMC is. Do you create CUI? Do you store CUI? Do you transmit? And do you process CUI? Keep those in mind. And if you do that, think about the best way I can tell you is the DOD documentation you'll see is the people, technology, and facilities, right? So think about CUI, who all has access. Then technologies, the softwares, like a lot of the manufacturings have the same, like Epicor, SolidWorks, Global Shop, Sightline, a number of things, very much similar. You have it. Ask the question: is CUI stored in there? Is it transmitted? Think of those things. So you may already have some things already implemented. You may have multi-factor authentication implemented. You may have some firewall encryptions turned on. So what you have, don't take it as you have to wipe everything, start over. That's the big thing I'm going to say is evaluate what you have. You may already be there 20%, 50%. So just don't think you have to start fresh all the way from the bottom. So keep that in mind and ask those questions. What do I do with the CUI?
So that's a good point, right? You don't have to start from scratch, and there's already a lot of investment you made in software and technology, and you don't want to have to rip and replace. So I think that's one of the reasons people come in, consultants come in and tell you to start from scratch. And the main driver is they don't understand your existing stack. So it's easier for them just to learn one or two and then suddenly tell you have to replace it with this, right? We've talked about this. When you have a hammer, everything becomes a nail, right? Now we've engaged, we've taken the opposite approach. We're saying instead of going and telling everybody to use, this nail because we have a hammer, we've done the opposite. We said, okay, let's go ahead and understand the whole ecosystem of software. So far, we've analyzed over 2,000 most popular products used in a CMMC space and how they map to those requirements, to individual objectives and requirements, so you don't have to start from scratch. We actually even build a free tool and put all those products in there. It's called the CMMC or the compliance checkup. You go in there and then he will tell you which products you're using, and he will rate you and give you a score of your current stance. But let's talk about actually some very specific examples. I know you and I are out there in the muck working day to day, and we hear the nightmare stories. Nothing against the C3PAO auditors themselves, but sometimes they can be the problem because this requirement is new and they don't understand it, and they tend to, let's be honest, they get a little bit zealous and they overdo it. So let's talk about some of those scenarios where they're perfectly good solutions that could be compliant and well configured. You hear pushback. You mentioned just now like Epicor and a few other ones that actually have been a challenge, and how we can address those. Can you share some of the stories?
Right. One of the big things that happens first, people either try to say, everything that I have, I need to start fresh. Or they might just say, oh my God, it's 320 controls. I don't know where to do. And they start this massive, and people go to what they know. So they might start these long spreadsheets, tab after tab of what is this? What is that? Am I doing this correctly? Which what it does is one of the things that you may not think about is the time wasted in not being organized and approaching it correctly is also costing you money. That is the salary, the monthly pay, salaries that are going out. So take a breather, figure out what it is that you need, then go in a very methodical way of how it needs to be. um, I think the one way I would say is, just when you're trying to get healthy, you just don't go and which I think a lot of times we often do it, but that's not the right way, which is like, let's start working out every day, cut down every calories, let's do this. And then one day you just get tired and start having dessert. And next thing you know, one dessert to the next and carbs and all these things that
Hey, what are you trying to
work.
say? I've lost a few pounds.
No, but I want you to be thinking as compliance is not a project. Don't think of it that way. I want you to think of is I'll make small changes every day, every month, weekly, and you'll achieve compliance. Don't try to think I need to hurry up and do all of these things at the same time. Constantly do something, pause, check, make sure everything you did is correct, quality assurances as you're doing it, then move forward. So don't try to do all of this at the same time. Hopefully that, I didn't want to get too technical here, but just trying to give you an idea of it.
Well, thank you. So you just actually hit on something very important, right? The wrong way of doing CMMC and is by starting with the 320 objectives. So CMMC comes with 110 controls, which are broken down into 320 objectives. Now, if you start that as a checklist, right, the 320 items, you're guaranteed to fail because it's not efficient. It's a good analogy is that is the 320 objectives are your quality assurance checklist. Think of it as like building a car with the quality assurance checklist at the end, right? That they're signing off the car. You can't build a car like that. You have to build it from the assembly. So instead, what you need to do, you need to like evaluate what your current posture is and what needs to be done. So I want to actually give you a very specific example over here of this Acme Corp that we did. So what you need to, first of all, is know what solutions you're using and then choose between your lowest cost, fastest, or the simplest implementation option. And then decide what part of the labor you're going to do. Are you going to do all of it? Or do you need project management help? Or do you need like a CISO, like Tariq or Engage to come in and provide advisory services? So once you have that figured out, then that point is to actually then generate your checklist. We made a tool to actually do this, as I'm showing over here. Once you make that decision, the system will actually generate a detailed milestones and task lists for you. So in this example, you'll see that it actually creates all of the milestones, which are then mapped to those 320 objectives. In this case, you can see one milestone is mapped to over 22 objectives and will have a big impact on your score. So you're focusing on actually doing, human understandable things like implementing Microsoft GCC High, if that's what you chose, or implementing SIM, right? You're auditing and monitoring instead of going into the detail, like the objectives, which are really not human friendly and readable, that won't help you. So this is the better approach to actually then focus on organize. But the checklist cannot be generic. So I do want to warn you, you can't go out there and find generic checklists that will work for you. It needs to be generated based on who you are. So you can actually generate this for free. So go ahead and our compliance checkup link over here, click on that, fill out, spend 10 minutes putting in what products you have, what your objectives are. This is actually a SOC 2 and ISO certified tool. So it's secure and free. Fill that out and it will generate your checklist and your implementation options for you. The other way is to actually start doing this manually on your own. Find out all the products you have, figure out how they map to each of the controls, which objectives, and then go in from there and then create an Excel spreadsheet that is specific, organized by milestone instead of by just objectives, like a raw list of 320 objectives. So I know this is a little bit of shameless plug over here, so I apologize if this was too much, But we have spent over $4 million building this tool, and we are not charging it. We want giving it away for free because we want our defense industrial base to succeed instead of get stuck with a large bill from expensive consultants. You can do this on your own. So I know after that plug over here, Tarek, any kind of important takeaways on the CMMC journey over here, what the focus should be on?
Arut, I haven't used your tool yet, but if your tool can provide all that information, right? If you're building the POAMs and if it does the SSP, if it does this, you're quite ahead, honestly. Would love to get a demo sometime to kind of go through it, see what the improvements are. But if you have all those things that are being done with the checkup tool that you provide, and it gives you your SSP is created, POAM is created, a roadmap is created, that's really great. And then keeping in mind, compliance is really a journey that you need to take. As you mentioned, let's focus on getting 10% done this month or 10% this quarter, however that works with your budget, however it works with your flexibility. So take it very methodical and one step at a time, and don't be overwhelmed. You have 320 controls. Like I said, some things you may already be doing it that may already get you up to 30-40% that's already there. Then you can just bite size it and start working on it. Don't try to do all of it at the same time, and then you may just get overwhelmed, tired, and then give up after some time. So if again, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing your tool as well. If it does really create all that SSPs, POAMs, and all these things, you're halfway there with it, I think. So
Well, I brought you over here so we
take it
can
as
talk
one step at a
about.
time. Don't try to get it done.
Now you have this was not a sales pitch for you, but this tool is free, so anyone can use it. Love to show it to you, but I appreciate all the insights you bring in from the ground in Wichita area, the Midwest area. So thank you so much.
Right.
Appreciate your time,
Sure.
and thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
sir.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow Tarek in the description. Thank you.